A very good morning to my dear class 12 computer science students. Today we will be starting up a new chapter, and this is chapter number 10, and the name of the chapter is Communication and Network Concepts. So this chapter will basically cover the following topics. The first is your computer network, introduction to it, and then the types of network we'll be discussing. Then further we'll be discussing the evolution of the network, then the switching techniques, the data communication and the terminologies. Then we'll be discussing the transmission medium, that is guided and unguided. Then we will be discussing the network topologies, which will include star topology, bus topology, mesh topology and many others. Okay, next we'll be discussing the network devices like the hub, star, switch, gateways and many other devices. Next is your communication protocols like TCP, IP, HTTP, POP. So many protocols we will be discussing in detail. Next comes your wireless or the mobile computing. After that we'll be discussing the internetworking terms and the concepts. Further we'll be discussing the network security concepts. Then we'll be discussing in detail the viruses, and finally we'll be discussing about the e-commerce payment transactions using the online banking. So let me start with the topic, what is network? So network is a collection of different devices together. When we combine different devices together, it forms a network. So what is about the computer network? When we are combining different computers together for the purpose of sharing of the information and for the purpose of communication, then we are dealing up with a computer network. Okay, so why we are combining different computers together? So that we may exchange the resources, we may exchange the information, we may have cost benefits, and for other reasons also. Okay, so what is computer network? A computer network is a collection of interconnected autonomous computing devices so as to exchange information or share resources. Now what do you mean by autonomous? Autonomous means independent, means these computers are not dependent on one another. Okay, so when we are combining two or more autonomous computing devices in order to exchange the information or to share the resources, that is called as computer network. Now what are the resources? Like we have one printer in a lab and we don't want to purchase many printers. So what we can do, and we have like 20 computers in our lab, so we need to take printout from these 20 computers sometimes. So we cannot afford having one printer for each of the computer. That will be too costly. So what we will do, we will connect all the computers together along with the printer. Okay, and we can then give the command from any of the computer to print, so definitely it will work. Okay, so this will help us to share the data also, to reduce the cost also, to have the communication also. So we can definitely connect multiple computers together by the help of various types of network. Okay, that will be reading out within few minutes. Okay, so now let us see. So here we can see we are connecting different devices together, electronic devices we are connecting together for the purpose of exchange of information or for the purpose of communication. Okay, so here we are having different network devices also, and different resources also, like printers we are having, scanners we are having. Okay, so this is your router, this is one of the computer network device. Okay, we'll be discussing about these things in detail when they will come in the chapter. So what are the advantages of network? First is we can share the resources, like we can share the printers, scanners. So it will be a cheaper option for us because we don't have to buy many equipments for similar type of work. Okay, because we'll be sharing it. Next is share the storage. We can even share the storage also, means hard disk also we can share among different computers. Okay, so for that you need to make that particular drive as shareable, and then you can all the computers that have been given that access will be able to use the files that are in the shared drive. Okay, next is you can share softwares also. So you are not supposed to buy the licensed software for every machine, so it will be cheaper for you, because otherwise you need to pay much more for buying those licenses. Okay, next is you can have improved communication. So you can send messages through emails, okay, and that is just possible because of these networks only. So these are the benefits that are offered by a network to the humans. Okay, next is the disadvantages of network. Firstly, that the cost of establishment will be there at the initial basis, and you need to hire a specialist staff to run the network, otherwise you will not be able to set up the devices in proper way. Okay, next is if the network has not been managed properly, then you will not be having that good productivity that you may have otherwise. Okay, next is if the softwares they are held centrally, means there is a central computer that is controlling all other computers, and if the central computer fails, then the complete communication channel will fail. Okay, so this is one of the disadvantage. Next is the file security. For that file security, you must install certain firewalls or antiviruses, because there will be a threat of the viruses to your system. So for that also you need to be vigilant, otherwise it will create a problem for you. I hope the concept of network, advantages of network and the disadvantages of network is clear to you. So let me summarize for what we are using this computer network: for the purpose of resource sharing, so that we may able to share our printers, scanners and many other devices that are otherwise not required in day-to-day life in much need. Okay, next is for enhanced communication, we need to connect computers together to reduce the cost. We are sharing the resources. Okay, so for all these benefits we are using the computer network, and minded that computer networks is sometime known as network only. Okay, these terms are used interchangeably, but computer network is much better term otherwise. Now comes the components of the computer network. So computer network, it is having various components like hosts and nodes. Okay, servers are also there, client is there, network hardware devices are there, communication channel is there, which can be wired or it can be wireless also. It uses softwares also, like protocols are also softwares, or network operating system is also there. Then network services are also there. So let us discuss these components in detail one by one. So let me read out this particular point that is very important, and you also must keep this thing in mind to avoid your confusions. Okay, a computer becomes a workstation. I repeat, a computer becomes a workstation of a network as soon as it is attached to a network. Okay, so when you are connecting your computer to a network, means to other computers, then it can be called as a workstation. Okay, so the term host or node, we can say both are the same things. It refers to the computer that are attached to a network and are seeking to share the resources of the network. Okay, so your host or node is one of the computer that is being attached to the network. Okay, that is actually going to share the resources in the network for which we have established that network. Okay, and in this you may have your PCs, laptops, smartphones, etc. Fine. Next is your server. So what is a server? Server is actually a computer. It is also a computer, but that is having certain more functionality than other computers. Okay, now the server is a computer that facilitates the sharing of data, software and hardware resources. Hardware resources like printers, modems, scanners. So on network, when a computer is facilitating the sharing of data, software and the hardware resources, then that particular computer will be known as server. Okay, so server is also a computer, but that is much more responsible than other computers for offering these things to you. Okay, so let us move to, we can have different types of servers for specialized tasks, for handling different types of tasks. Like we can have a file server that will handle the requests related to the files only. We can have printer server. Okay, one computer that is just meant for handling the requests of the printers only, means printing only, like 50 computers they can give command for printing, so it will be just submitted to a one server, one computer that will ultimately do the printing job only. Okay, so such type of servers that are dedicated for a particular type of job are dedicated servers. Okay, next is your clients. So client is a client computer is actually the host computer that is sending the request to the server. We know that internet works on the client server technology, so there is a server that is taking up the request from the different clients. Like when you are turning on your computer, you are becoming a client, and you are, whatever you are searching on the internet, that is being served to you by server only. Okay, and whenever you are typing something on Google, let us say, so your request is going to the server, and the server is replying back with the one of the web page, okay, that you have to use. Fine. So network hardware, now next term is so network hardware is basically there to establish the connection and to control the network traffic. Okay, so there are different hardwares that are actually required for the smooth functioning of the your computer and the network specifically. Next is the first hardware that we are going to discuss is NIC. NIC stands for Network Interface Unit. Okay, since this network interface unit, that in short called as NIC card, so this card is attached to your host, one of your computers, so as to establish the network connection. So if you want to get connected to the network, then you must have NIC. Okay, and then what is this NIC? This NIC is a card that has a unique physical address. Let me make clear few points here, that one computer will have two addresses at least, means there will be two addresses for a computer that is going to attached itself to the network. Actually one is your MAC address. So this MAC address is actually the address, it is also known as physical address, and this is given to a computer at the time of manufacturing by the manufacturer, and it remains always fixed, and it is of 48 bits, or we can say 6 bytes. For what purpose this address has been given? For the identification of that particular computer. So in order to identify a computer uniquely, a manufacturer is giving it a number that is known as your MAC address, and that will be of 48 bits, and it remains fixed throughout the lifetime of the computer. Okay, it cannot be changed. So NIC is called the network interface card, and it uses this MAC address because against this MAC address only, the computer, when it gets connected to the network, it will get a new address that is known as your logical address, and that is of 32 bits. Okay, but nowadays this 32-bit logical address has been increased. Okay, so now let us move to other hardware components of the network, that is hub, switch, router. They are basically required to connect the devices together. Okay, in lab when we have multiple computers together, so in order to connect them, we can either use switch or hub, but most of the time we are nowadays using switch only to connect multiple computers together. Okay, so we'll be reading out about these devices in detail in this chapter only. So that was just a brief overview about the network, computer network hardware. Okay, next comes your communication channel. As we are interacting with other computers, like we are interacting with the server, we are interacting with the other computers also. So for communicating, we must have a channel, okay, or we can say a medium. So that medium can be wired or it can be wireless. So wired communication channel is actually including the physical medium, means we will be having the network cables that will be connected from one end to another, like we are connecting one computer to another with the help of those cables. So that is known as wired communication channel or medium. Okay, like such type of cables will be known as twisted pair cables. Like in your lab, if you see, if two computers are connected together with the wire, so that will be known as your wired communication channel, and the channel, I mean the cable that is being used will be coaxial cables. Okay, another type of cable can be twisted pair cable, another can be your fiber optic cable. So we will be comparing these cables when this topic will come in detail further. Okay, now what is your wireless communication channel when we are using the unguided media? This was your guided media because you have connected the two computers or more computers with the help of wire only, and the wire is defining the fixed path. So that channel is fixed, so that media is defined, so that is called guided media. So when we do not have such physical medium and we are transmitting the signals or we are communicating with the help of the radio waves or satellites, so such type of medium is known as your unguided medium. Okay, so examples of a wireless medium or wireless communication medium we can say is microwaves, radio waves, satellites, infrared waves, or laser. Okay, so this also will be covering in detail further. Next is your software. So the software layers of the network make networking possible because there are different models, and upon that different model strategy we are working with the concept of internet. Okay, and those network, like we have OSI model, we have TCP IP model, okay, through which we are implementing the concept of internet, and those models are further subdivided into layers. Okay, and each layer is having different functionality, and though for those functionality we have used certain protocols are the set of rules. Okay, why this set of rules are important? If I tell you that beta you need to come in the school tomorrow, so somebody will say ma'am I'll come in early morning, and somebody will say ma'am I'll come after 2 o'clock, somebody will say something, another will say another thing. So if we are not setting up the rule that if I'm not defining the time everyone has to come by 8 a.m., so everyone will go in his own way, and that will create problem. Why? Because if I am sending data from this side, so somebody should be there to receive the data. If nobody is there to receive the data, then my data is going waste. So in order to make the coordination between the things, like you are sending some request to the server and server is not attending you, it doesn't make any sense. So ultimately the computer, I mean your network is not working properly, your internet is not working properly. So we need certain rules and regulations to make the things go smooth and proper. For that we are setting up the protocols. Protocols are the pre-designed set of rules using which all parties of the network connect and interact with another. I hope it is clear to you. And another term is the network operating system. It is a specialized operating system that can handle the networking tasks. Next is your network services. So there are many different functionalities over a network that the application may have to refer, like DNS, domain name system, file sharing we can do, voice over the internet protocol, and many other network service you can have when you are getting yourself connected over the network. Okay, when you are surfing network you have many functionalities, so all those functionalities will be a part of this particular concept. Now the types of network. There are different types of network. One is your LAN, another is your PAN, then is your WAN, and then is your PAN. Okay, so you might have read these topics in detail, so I'll be little bit fast in this particular topic. So LAN is basically for a local area, for a building, for an office. Okay, and basically we are connecting the computers together for the purpose of resource sharing, like printers, scanners we want to share, for other things like files we want to share this hard disk, and many other things we can share if we are connecting computers together in a particular office or in a building. Okay, so that will be possible with the help of LAN. Okay, so what all you can share your data, information, programs, printers, hard disks, modems. So you will be you can do all the things with the help of your LAN. Okay, so we can have a file server there. Okay, one computer is known, we can set one computer as your file server that will handle all the issues related to your files. Okay, so computer connected to the server are called workstations. Note this. Okay, and we need NIC. We have just discussed this network interface card, one of the hardware that is required to connect one computer to the network. So this is the same thing, NIC. Okay, so next is, and note another thing, that LAN can be spread up to 1 kilometer range. Okay, next is your wide area network. When we need to go across the countries for a big geographical area, we are going with the WAN. Okay, so when a group of computers that are separated by a large distance, that are tied together, that is just possible with the help of this WAN. So we can say when we are combining different LANs together, we get WAN. Okay, so it will offer us a lesser cost and high speed. Okay, so computers can be connected with the wide area network, and we can connect the public using this public network also, we can go with it. Okay, like we have seen the telephone system which we were using earlier, that was having leased line concept, means that we can connect. So you can see the description of lease line. It is a permanent telephone connection between 2 points set up by the government regulated organization that provides telecommunication services to the public. Okay, like you had landline phone at your home, where one of the wire is coming out from your handset, and that was being connected to the BSNL or MTNL servers to record the contents, like when you called and how much you talked about. Okay, so the last concept about this WAN is the largest WAN is existing in the terms of internet. Okay, so MAN is basically for a particular metropolitan area, so it will cover a big city. Okay, about 50 kilometers or so its range would be. Okay, so now let us compare LAN and WAN. LAN is for the smaller area, WAN is for the larger area. LAN cost will be less, its cost will be higher. It will usually cover a single network, it will cover many networks. Okay, last topic is PAN. So what is PAN? It is the interconnection of different devices within the range of 10 meters, and this will be through a personal mobile phone or a particular device. So you can connect your laptop, your PDA, your portable printer through that particular network, and you can take benefit of the services. Okay, so this is for the personal area, for the personal reasons. Okay, you may transfer the files including your email, you may share the digital photos, you may play the music. Okay, so this is like when you are turning on your hotspot in your mobile phone, and then you are connecting your printer to take out the printout. So that is an example of PAN. Okay, so we'll be discussing rest of the chapter in our next video. Thank you so much.